Excellent.
Okay, so I'm just going to run through my last set now, or three bits and pieces. So I'll firstly play, there's a chap called John Scott who used to live down here in Croydon. He married Kitty MacDonald. Kitty her Sluniach was rather... Really? Yeah. Her Sluniach was rather, unfortunately, Kate Clipping, and I won't ask Norman to translate that, but it's not very flattering anyway. But John was her third husband, which is... They all died under including John, which is true. Right? Yeah. So, anyway, many of you would have heard of Delina Mackay, the great real Delina Mackay. Well, John composed that tune. We used to go down and see the Wilsons and John down in Croydon. He was a great mate of me, the old man's. And the first time I heard, I don't know if you remember, there was a knockout competition. There was the big annual knockout competition in Glasgow. Back in the 70s, Dr. Angus and John Wilson were playing in the final, and I heard a tape recording of it. And Dr. Angus won, and Seamus, and it wasn't quite in the same league as his summary after Gordon Duncan won the competition. But his exact words that night were, "For your pleasure and to my surprise, the winner is Dr. Angus." And the doctor was livid, and I got up, I heard a very drunk John Scott on the tape just sort of giving him a very hard time. Anyway, John composed this tune, Kate MacDonald of Croydon, for his wife. So I'll start off with that, and then I'll play The Man from Skye and Callum Veek. I'm not going to play competition style because I just think there are better ways to play these tunes, frankly. Donald was a great composer, but just with Callum Veek, the first part is a traditional part that he built on top of that, and so my argument for anybody who says, well, you should always stick to an interpretation, actually, for a number of tunes that Donald MacLeod picked up, he took a traditional melody and put it into a pipe format. So this is definitely not sacrilege, but in my opinion, I just prefer to play them this way. And then I'll go into the big spree, which for the piping aficionados, this is one of the big tunes in piping. It's on the medal list this year, the gold medal list this year. The history is not very clear about it. There are three tunes which have spree after the name. If you have a religious persuasion, there is some history that says that we signal different symbols or signals in the Roman Catholic Church during the at the time of when the church was being persecuted in Scotland. The other name for it is you were drunk and had better sleep, which sort of gives it a completely different connotation. So, like all of these things, you just sort of take them with a pinch of salt. But there's no doubt this is a big beast of a tune. So, Roddy, if my drone goes out, I might ask you just to give it a wee tweak, because it's a good 10 minutes. And then I'm going to finish the evening then with a tune called Samantha's Lullaby. I don't know if any of you know that or the story to the tune, but Samantha's Lullaby was composed by a great piper called Arthur Gillis from Kilkenny, just outside of Oberlin. And I had, again, the privilege of teaching with Arthur at some schools in Germany. I got to know him quite well. One of the best tunes Peebles I ever heard play was at Tainot one year, and Arthur playing the Out of Old Omen, setting number 1. It was a fantastic bill. Anyway, him and his wife fostered a child called Samantha, but that child was taken off them at 14. And clearly that was you'll hear the emotion in the tune. If those of you who know, you've heard the tune before, if you've not heard the story, it's a very, very sad story. So Arthur and his wife tried to adopt Samantha, but the child was taken off them. And the story is that her real mother came and took her back. That's what happened. So I'm not going to say any more about the tune. You can make your own minds up whether you get what's going on, but I'll leave that up to you. So, and as I can't move this chanter, I'm going to have to take the risk of going into the front door with a chanter that's not quite set to suit my fingers. So therein lies the beauty of recitals. So, Katie McDonald of Croydon, The Man from Skye, and Callum Leake.